Good afternoon, folks. Okay, it's Saturday afternoon, and I am not working today on anybody else's stuff but my own. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to put a clothesline up into this shelter, this roof deck shelter that I put up this spring. I did a couple videos on it, and I haven't quite got it finished yet. Still have the gable ends to get done and a little bit of flashing in the back to mount to the trailer. This is a 36-foot fifth wheel camper trailer, and I built a deck that's 24 by 10 wide, and I am going to put a clothesline up, but I do not want to make it look like I am in a trailer park, per se. So I want to make it look decent. I want, it doesn't cost much more money to make it look good. So I went down and I researched. I was going to make some brackets up, and I went to a local hardware store, and I had found these on a shelf. These things right here. So there was 4 of them there. I bought all 4. I have a welder, so I am going to weld these 2 brackets together. Like that. And mount them. Like that. At the very end post. So when I do that, then I will take the wheel for the clothesline, and I will mount it to the bracket. This bracket that has a hole in it. I'll put a little hook in there that'll be adjustable. And I'll do one on each side. It's 24 feet long, so I think the posts are set at 20 feet long from post to post on the exterior side. I'll show you from that post to that post. Oops, get my head out of the way. That post, that's 20 feet long, and I am going to make a clothesline fastened to that, and to be able to stand in one place on a wheel. Old school. Reason why I'm doing that, not because I don't have a dryer here, because I do have a dryer here. I have a washer and I have a propane dryer here. So I'm not worried about that, but I want to save in the environment. I also want to save on my pocketbook, so energy cost. So what I'm thinking is, on a nice beautiful day like today, it's a little overcast now, it's going to rain tomorrow, so I think that's what's coming in. What I'm thinking is, if I can do this, I could save myself energy cost on drying laundry for the rest of the summer. Probably late into fall. So, this is my project. Let's see how I make out. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to weld these brackets together. But I have to go set the welder up. We'll be right back. Okay, I've got it all set up in a jig here, so we can't move when I'm welding it. I'm going to just weld a little joint here and see how that goes. I don't know how well it's going to work, but so I put 4 tacks in there. You can see that. Just 4 tacks of weld, and that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the exact same thing to the next one. I had a little problem there with getting it dark out, and the reason why is because there's still a fair amount of paint on there. I didn't quite clean it up enough. So, but anyway, I'm going to continue on, get the next one done, and then we'll go to the next stage. Here's what they look like when they're done. I just welded 4 tacks on the back. I'm going to clean that up a bit, and then I'll probably give it a coat of black paint. I had to score up a little bit here just to get a ground on it. And how I did that is I screwed it down to the top of that plywood to hold, so it would hold itself up. And then I took my little magnets in the back and kept it square. And vice grip the top to make sure that when the heat got to the bracket where it's thin, that it wouldn't try to spread itself out. But anyway, so that's it. So what I'll do is have that set on is it'll be like that when it's on the post. And on this side here is where the wheel will be for the tow hanger. So let's just see how that works out. There. Now that's done. Got my 4 tack welds there. I used a generator on that just to not have to worry about the power. Geez, every time I use the welder, I always use the generator. And now, there you go. That's welded together. So I've got that bracket. It's going to sit like so. And that bracket will sit like, sorry, let me get these figured out here. That bracket will sit like so, and that bracket will sit like so. So they'll be looking like that when they're done. All right, so I'm going to stop at that, and then we'll go to the next stage. Now I've got a little bit of trim clad or beauty tone rust paint. So anyway, I'm just going to sponge it on there just to kind of cover up my welds, to keep them from rusting. I'm using a sponge because I don't have a paintbrush, and it really doesn't require a paintbrush. You can get a sponge brush too, so might as well just use a sponge. Making it work, so they say. Should be wearing gloves because that's not going to come off my hand very easy. I can, it's pretty well empty, so it gets a little messy when it's down there like that. When you're trying to half-ass something, I guess you call it. So there. All my welds are black now, again, and my spot that I grinded. So I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to do the other one, and then I'm going to let them set for a bit, and then I'm going to go put them up in place. I'll be back in a sec. So now I've got the brackets all done, painted up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this eyelet or this hook, and I'm going to shove it through the top hole there, and then I'm going to bolt it in place. And once that's done, then I'll put the brackets up. So I'm just going to put a nut on this side and a nut on that side of that bracket, and that'll help me tighten that up into place. It'll also give me an adjustment that if I want to later on turn it and screw it in if the clothesline's too loose. So bear with me, I'll be right back. So now I've got the eyelet or the hook in there in place. And what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to hook that on there like so. And that'll give me an adjustment. So if I want to tighten it, I can just tighten it. And I'll be able to tighten it on both ends. So it'll be able to widen it or shrink it by 3 or 4 inches. So that'll be that for now. So getting ready to put the bracket up. And what I want is I want to be able to hide this clothesline from the exterior side. I do not want to see that from outside. So this is how I'm going to overcome that. I've got a 10-inch header here. I'm going to bring it up so that when the wheel is straight out, the wheel will be behind the header, which will be what you'll see when the clothesline is empty. It might sag in the center as it's full, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to bring it up to where I think looks like it's right, and right there is the mark. I didn't measure it, but I can eyeball it. I want the bottom of the bracket to be center of the post because I want this thing to look like it's meant to be. The other side of this is it's also acting as a brace or a bracket for the post as well in the header. Even though that's locked together by the way it's cut, this will help. Again, it looks like I want to have that set up so the height is the center of the header and the center of the post. Just looking at it, making sure it's level. I can tell that by eye. What I want to do is just keep it straight with everything I've got going on there. There. That looks great. I'll bring it over and let you see. What I've got is my bracket that I built, and I have it facing so it's supported on the back side, so it can't pull the bracket forward and out of the way from the wheel. And then the wheel, when it's pulled tight, it should work out like this, and that shouldn't. That's high, so that shouldn't touch the soffit here. So I'm going to go to the other side and then see what happens. See what we come up with. Back again for video 2. So now on this clothesline that I want to install here on the inside of the roof deck for the summer use only to save energy costs. So now what I've got here is I've got a sunshade here setting up. It's just a mesh, and I'm going to just move that down. I just have a screw there, so I'm just going to let that drop on that corner for now. And I'm hoping that when I can put this up and around that. But we won't worry about the sunscreen right now. I'm more worried about the clothesline. I do have a dryer here, like I said, a propane dryer, and I also have a wash machine here as well at this fifth wheel camper trailer. So I'm just setting this up. Again, the same as I did the other side, and I don't want that wheel to be visible from the exterior side if you're out there looking. I don't want you to be able to see this wheel after the clothesline's tightened. I want to make it discreet. I want it to look nice. And now I'm going to eyeball center of this post. This post is already level, so I'm going to eyeball center of the post. The bracket square, I welded it square. So the only thing I can do is to make sure the height is right. And I have that by the center of the reveal on the header is what I went with from the other side. So that's exactly what I'm going to do on this side. And I'm doing it all by eye. I have a pretty good eye that way. But if you don't, you can take a tape measure and something to draw a line so you can put your screws in the same spot. That's entirely up to you and how you do it. I've got it tacked into place on my bracket. Now I'll put the screws in. Now I'm just using regular deck screws on that. So what I'll do with that afterwards is I'll take that sponge that I did with the paint, and I'll just touch the edge of the end of the screw heads, and that'll make them look black. So I'm not worried about that right now. There. So now the screws are all on. The brackets are both on. We have both brackets on. So we have this bracket here set up, and it'll set in there like so. The bottom of the wheel will be in line roughly with just a half an inch or so higher than the bottom of the header right here. So you won't see the clothesline from the exterior side at the end of the day. And the other one is down there on the other end set up. Now, I have a sunscreen here. I'm going to see if I can put it up. Still have everything I want. There. Okay, sunscreen's back up, and I still have a clothesline. So we're good. Now, I bought a kit, so I cheated a bit. I bought a kit for a clothesline. Cost me $71. Everything's getting pretty expensive. I could have got one cheaper, but the brackets were cheaper. So I decided to go with this one. So now we're ready for the clothesline. And I don't know how well this is going to work out on camera. So I've got the kit. It comes with the tightener. It actually came with 2 screw hooks, which we didn't use because we made our own screw hooks. They're the same gauge though, hook. So they're the same thickness and hook, so we don't have to worry about them breaking. The ones we used. Comes with heavy duty wire. And it came with the 2 wheels. So that's it for that kit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to run some line out there, and I don't know how well this is going to work on camera, so we're going to find out. Just unhooking it. I'm going to go to the far end. I'm going to set that on the floor, straight up. I'm going to run it over top of the wheel, and then I'm going to bring it down, if it'll let me. Bring it down to the far end. I'm going to turn you around here. And then I'm going to put it over top of this other wheel. Like that. And then I'm just going to kind of bounce it out. Because if I don't, what will happen is it will want to go back up and unravel itself. So now we're at the far end. So, like I said, bear with me on this because I don't know how well this is going to work on camera. So basically I have to make the 2 pieces of the clothesline meet on the other end. And I have them on wheel to wheel, and I don't want them to be twisted. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie the end of this clothesline in the wheel. Just like that. Just a temporary tie. Left myself a little bit of slack here so I can make sure that I'm on the wheel on this side. Which I'm not. But I will be. So we'll fix that wheel up. Make sure they're not twisted. Make sure the top's still on the top and the bottom's on the bottom. There. Now I have them both in the wheel. Then we're back. So now, I'm going to try to pull this tight enough. I know it's not going to spin because I have, there we go. There, I have it tied. I'm going to pull it tight enough, and then I'm going to pull out a foot more than I need for now. I don't know if you can see me in the camera there, but I'm going to try to get a foot more than I need. So I'm going to bring you back down to the table here and set you on so you're a little closer. So I've got it set up, like I said, I want a foot more than I need. So I'm just going to guess that on that. And then I'm going to see if I can cut it. I don't know if I can cut it with my tin snips or not. So I'm going to find out. My tin snips had better days. I have a pair of vice grips here. See if I can cut it that way. Works better with a set of side cutters. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I have my side cutters. Not really, but anyway, we're going to use them. There, that's done. Now, I've got to find the other end of that wire. Zooming across the patio here. Set it back up into my wheel. And I have a foot more than I need, just exactly what I wanted. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie that into the wheel as well. Just for a quick minute, just to hold it in place. And bear with me. I'm back. I got a tightener. So here's the tightener. And I'm just going to use this one. And how I'm going to do this tightener is I'm going to put it on the top. So, in order to get that at the top, I need to untie these two ends. I'm going to bring the bottom around the top. And then set it back in the wheel. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm going to feed the two ends together. Keep one end through the center hole. And the other one the exact same way through the center hole, so they both cross each other in the center hole. And just set them up so they're a couple inches or an inch on both sides more than you need in the bracket. Now, darn it, just lost it. Put it back together. Now I lost the other side. Bear with me. This might be easier if you had a little help, but I don't have any help. So I learned how to do things by myself. Not that I can't get the help, I just don't have any here today. Now I'm going to pull that through until my slack is pretty well gone. I've cut my wire too long by a fair amount, looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the grinder again and cut off that excess. Very carefully. There, that's done. So now, I'll just give that a couple turns. And it's not going to be easy. Probably going to have a pair of vice grips just for my hand for leverage. Now I'm just going to give that tighten. Couple more clicks. There. And that's what you have. Now, I have the whole entire thing here set up. I have a twist in it, in the center. So, I'm going to undo the twist. There. So there. So now I've got my clothesline all set up. So I am ready to hang laundry. I've got one of these little things and some clothespins. And it's done. So that's it. I showed you a how-to video of how to hang a clothesline discreetly on the inside of a roof deck. Deck roof, sorry. So, and it just runs along the inside of the header, all the way down. And I'll take you to the other side. This is the roof that I built. This is the one I did a video on. I haven't finished it yet. There's still a gable end on this end to do, and I've got some work to do in the back there. But that's it. On this side, on the front side of that gable, or that header, you cannot see that clothesline, which is exactly what I wanted, a discrete clothesline. All right, everybody, that's it for this one, and we will see you Tuesday, Monday's a holiday, and we will start another shower. It's going to be a tub surround, so stay tuned.